morning. It's Caralee
and Stacy,
and we are here this morning with North Texas Networkers. We have some special guests, but first, I don't want to leave out our sponsor, Craig Shrink with Willow Bend Mortgage. We're always so grateful that he helps support our show. And today we have two special guests, and quite frankly, they're close to home to me because my husband works for the same company. I'll just be up front and say that up front. I'm a little biased, but we've got some special people here that aren't just wonderful people who work at D&M. They're also friends. We've got Jed Gifford, and he is the talent acquisition manager for D&M Leasing, and then Larryssa Hilcher, who is the chief branding officer also at D&M Leasing. So today we're going to learn a little bit about leasing cars, driving fancy ones, maybe learning how to sizzle.
Yeah. Sounds all pretty simple, but I bet it's not. So I bet that a lot of work goes into it. But we're glad you guys are here today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here. And you know, since I said something about Sizzle, I'm going to start with Jed here. And
okay.
Tell us a little bit, number one, how you got involved at D&M.
Sure.
And then what you do, and then how you make people sizzle. Because that's a very important part of your job.
You bet. I'll talk about that. And so, you know, in terms of, I got recruited back into the automotive industry a little over 3 years ago, and feel very privileged to work for D&M Leasing, the industry leader when it comes to consumer auto leasing. And we'll get into that, I guess, in a little bit. What's your sizzle factor, right? Especially with what I do in terms of recruiting talent to D&M Leasing, it be it primarily sales agents, other folks within our organization. But I always ask, what's your sizzle factor? So why should we hire you? What makes you stand out? What makes you a hot candidate, right? We want somebody that's really going to be memorable, make an impact from day one, right? You know, basically day one and moving forward and looking for long-term employees. So when I say sizzle, it's not the sizzle steak, right? It's literally what makes you pop, what makes you differentiate yourself from other candidates. It's a highly competitive market out there for candidates and employees, and so I always ask folks during an interview, what's your sizzle factor? And I get so many different answers and responses on how people sell themselves.
What's the one that pops to your head as something that really stood out?
Well, someone said, you know, I keep a log of some of the best responses, and I would say, you know, someone like that, you know, I'm a sunshine on a rainy day. That's something. But some of them go, you know, give me a book, right? Some people just kind of bullet point it out, but it's a lot of memorable responses, and it really tells me who they are, right? Kind of gives me an inside look at their personality and who they are as a person. But yeah, what's your sizzle factor, right?
And you're usually recruiting for sales, right?
Yeah, primarily. I probably do 90-95% of what we're doing. D&M, we're in such growth mode. We have too many leads and not enough agents. And so I'm very much actively looking for folks that want to run a business within a business, right? Be a commission sales agent. We have people from all walks of life, right? Men and women, 20s into their 60s that want to be able to take advantage of what D&M has to offer.
Well, and just folks out there who don't know, D&M is an auto leasing company, and it actually started in 1976.
It's been around a while.
It's been around a long time, and it's not just local, right?
Yes. So go ahead.
We have D&M Dallas, D&M Fort Worth, D&M Houston, and we have Apple Leasing in Austin.
Okay.
So, and along with the leasing companies, what makes us a little bit unique, and I may be jumping ahead, but D&M also has dealerships. We have many franchises of dealers of automobiles and dealerships. We have our own finance company. So we're a very specialized group, and we just are not leasing. So we just continue to grow and expand, and we're so grateful for that. But yes, it's been around a very long time, and our owner Mike Hernandez took it over years ago, and has just created this empire, which is just one of a kind.
Well, and I think given what's happened over the last 12 to 18 months with the COVID-19 pandemic, because of our business model and how we do business and kind of a touchless process, right? Phone and internet sales, folks are able to lease or finance vehicles with us and know that we're not having to be the traditional dealership. We do it, you know, within a very timely manner, really focused on their needs, right? Problem solving. And to Larissa's point, we have all these different business units within D&M that allow us to be competitive, stay competitive, give us an edge, kind of be a disruptor in our industry, and that's how we've been able to stay relevant and very proactive and profitable over the last 40 plus years.
That's great. Well, Larryssa, tell us a little bit about how your path of getting into the car leasing business.
My father opened a new, way back in the day, a Ford dealership in Arlington.
Okay.
And I graduated from TCU and then immediately went into the NADA school, the National Automotive Dealers Association School in McLean, Virginia. It's a year-long program. So I was able to work every dealership department, parts, service, body shop, sales, finance, all of that, accounting. It gave me a really good foundation for the business, and at that point I knew I was hooked, and I worked my way up through every chair in the dealership, and finally ended as a general manager, one of the very few females to hold that title back in the day.
Yeah.
For 200 plus employees. It was quite a big job at a young age, but loved every minute of it. It was very hard work. It was extremely stressful, long hours, but there's just something about it. Once you get the auto industry in your system, it just never goes away.
Well, in fact, you tried to go away for just a little bit.
I did.
So
I did. I tried.
She tried.
I tried.
Yes.
I left
Go ahead,
the
tell us about
dealership
that.
world, and after my father sold it and opened up or bought a ladies' clothing store, a ladies' boutique, and did that for several years.
Selling clothes, selling cars.
Yeah.
Selling cars.
It's all about sale, right? And selling yourself,
And
right?
I thought if I can run a dealership, I can surely sell some jewelry and some shoes, and but it's much harder than what it sounds as well. But it was great. It was my lifelong dream, and I'm so glad I did it. But the dealership, just the car business, just continued to call my name, and so I left that industry and was able 3 years ago to be hired by D&M as their chief brand officer, and I do a lot of their public relations and a lot of their marketing. I do quite a bit with Kelly Hernandez, Mike's wife. They're extremely charitable. The family is extremely charitable and wants to give back. So I'm privileged enough to help them with that. We're associated with a lot of great organizations in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. Everything from the Cancer Society to the Heart Association. We do quite a bit with the children's hospitals. We were able to participate in the Armed Forces Bowl last year and give away a truck to a wounded warrior. So we have our fingers in a lot of different things, and it's extremely important to the Hernandez family and to D&M.
That's very good. Very good. Well, so D&M has been around, like you said, since 1976. So how did it kind of start, and what have been the changes along the way to where it is today?
Sure. So it does date back to 1976, and we're currently privately held, as Larryssa mentioned, privately held. We're family owned. We're very proud that it's minority owned with Mr. Hernandez. And but back in 1976, it was Don Davis and David Ritz that owned dealerships in North Texas, and they were like, let's get into leasing. And so it really had not been a big concept of people were used to buying vehicles and keeping them forever and ever. But the leasing concept really has taken hold because of what Mike Hernandez and the vision of our executive team have done over the last probably, say, 15, 20 years, I would say, Mike basically worked for that ownership group and then wound up buying them out and then taking the business private. And so I would say the exponential growth has really happened over probably the last 15 or 20 years in terms of our software, our infrastructure, the technology that we've invested in the business to differentiate ourselves from the traditional dealerships, because our transaction happens over a 24, 48, 72-hour period over the phone and via the internet. We have the privilege of delivering vehicles to people's homes and places of business. You're not having to spend 4, 5, 6 hours at a dealership, and our sales agents are a one-touch. They do everything, and so
It's so cool. You never even.
Yes.
I mean, you can go out and test drive something,
Yes.
but you don't have to.
Yes, and a lot of folks that come to us, have already gone to the dealership. They've test driven the vehicles. They want the convenience. Mike and the executive team have basically pulled off an Amazon within the automotive industry, and we were Amazon long before Amazon, based on our attention to detail and the ability to build relationships and have repeat referral retention business. One of our executives, Kelly Strasser, talks about how we have 50,000 active leases across North Texas. We're very proud of our portfolio and our client base, and we're building on that every single day.
Good. Well, what do people not understand necessarily about leasing? Do you find a lot of people that are kind of confused about the process or have some misunderstandings? Or
Well, I would say that we're in the education business, right? In terms of people think, well, what if I go over my miles? What happens? I've got to put all this money down, and how we're different. D&M has the easy lease. We make it a seamless, easy process. And again, I think it gives us some proprietary, equity within the market because of what we do in terms of you don't have to put any cash down, right? You don't have to really worry about your miles because our sales agents and our teams are on top of the ability for us to manage your portfolio and your vehicle and that type of thing. And so
you tell them how many miles a year you drive, right? Stacy and I
and
really
it's constant
appreciate
contact.
that. Because we're realtors and we drive a lot.
Yes,
We have a lot of miles.
So it's constant contact. It's relationship building. So no one's going to go over their miles because our sales teams are responsible for managing your lease over every few months we talk to them.
Because it's not a one-time deal.
No.
I mean, your people come back, right?
Yes.
Larryssa?
We have an extremely high repeat and referral business. That's the majority. It's a percentage, 75?
75% are repeat referral retention business.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
I knew there was a third R,
It's
but
the
I couldn't remember.
triple R. It's triple R, repeat referral retention. So yeah, it's 75%, and we're very, again, proud of that because that tells people that we've educated them, right? They didn't know about leasing before, or they've leased with us and they're going to lease again, and they're going to tell every member of their family, their personal and professional network that you should do business with D&M because it's different. Right.
We were extremely fortunate in the last 18 months due to the situation in our world that our business model never changed because it's exactly how we've always done it. We didn't not have to necessarily have contact with the customers. We didn't even have to come face to face. We could do it all over the internet. We could drop off the keys. We could do whatever and just do it all over the phone and through the computer. So we were extremely fortunate that we really didn't have to reinvent ourselves or to start all over or so that was good for us because the agents most of them worked from home during that year and just kept right on doing what they have always done.
A seamless process, right? I mean, again, we didn't have to, I guess the word over the last year and a half has been pivot, right? We didn't have to pivot our business model because it's what we've been doing for the last 20 plus years. And so we've been very fortunate. We've actually gained market share because people want to transact virtually, right? You're in the real estate business. People they don't necessarily have to go on house tours and test drive vehicles. They want the convenience of all of that, and so you've personally seen it, and we're seeing it play out very effectively.
Well, I think Stacy and I we can say we're both car people. We love cars. I mean, what is the most expensive car you guys have ever leased?
Well, what's wonderful is D&M has the ability to lease or finance any make, any model, domestic, import, highline, luxury, and exotic, right? And so regarding that, it would we deal with McLarens and Maseratis and Ferraris and Lamborghinis. It would probably be a $500,000 Ferrari.
Can I get like a weekend lease on that?
Is there a balance?
No.
Just a weekend.
Maybe potentially.
That's called a rental, isn't it?
It's not a rental. We're not enterprise, right?
Okay.
But no, D&M, we're able to do 3, 4, 5-year leases for folks. And so if you want a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a McLaren, a Bentley, a Rolls, we have that in our inventory. We have the ability to go find it. As well as if someone just wants a Toyota Corolla, right, for their college student or their 16-year-old in high school, or the third row SUV, and we're able to allow people to get and find what they need, right, and we're basically in the needs-based business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you had to really start searching for cars? I know that there's the issue. Has that been a challenge of yours?
I just had that on my mind too.
That is our challenge.
Well, I would say we've gotten more creative and proactive in terms of our dealer networks, right? We have a great presence here in North Texas, but now statewide and now nationally because of the reputation of D&M. Dealerships and our funding partners want to do business with us because they know that we do everything morally, legally, and ethically the right way. And so, yes, we've had to get more creative and more proactive and over the last 12 to 18 months because of the pandemic, but continue to knock on wood, have very good years and very good months because again, I go back to the core business and our business model that Mike has instituted. We're very, very fortunate.
Good.
So, top ranked place to work 2 years in a row, Dallas and Fort Worth?
Yes.
Incredible.
That's an accomplishment.
Well, Larryssa, talk about that. I mean, I think that allows us to kind of feature about our culture and our environment and our engagement.
being a family-owned and a business, it is a family. You are a part of a group, and we've got the sales staff, from top to bottom. We try to help each other out. We want to be involved in the community. We do bike builds where we get our employees involved and build bikes for underprivileged children. So we do things at Christmas and during the holidays for underprivileged families and needy families, and try to help them out. So the employees love to get involved and to be a part. We are a very close, tight-knit group. And we all, as we said a while ago, we all wear a lot of hats. It's not, this is your job and this is my job description. Everybody just kind of pitches in, and it's just it's a great place to work. It's fun. The executives are fun. It's not the grind of coming in every day. They let you be a little flexible and understand the importance of family life, and so it's just a great place. It's just a happy place to work in any office you go into, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, or Austin.
Right.
So.
Well, and I can't take credit for this. This was established before I joined 3+ years ago. But we're looking for people that want to have a career, right? It's not a job. I think we're the average tenure of our sales agents is 10 years. We have people celebrating 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years with our company. Not a lot of companies, regardless if it's in automotive or real estate or other industries, can say that they have that kind of tenure with talent, and we're very proud of the diversified employee base. I think we literally have just about every walk of life represented within our workforce, and so I love that. It says at D&M Leasing, we don't offer jobs, we provide careers. What's the difference, right? And commitment, have a great attitude, take responsibility for what you're doing, bring that energy and enthusiasm every day, and effort and respect, and that's allowed us to stay ahead of our competitors, and I think that just is ingrained in our culture and how people enjoy going to work every day, and a lot of smiling faces. I think that's really, it's just a fun place to be.
So if somebody doesn't have a background in cars, it's still a place that they could come learn and be successful? Is that?
Oh, I think in the time I've been here, we've hired a lot of people without automotive dealership experience. I think that allows us to pull in their diverse work history and their experience, because maybe someone has been in real estate or the restaurant, hotel, hospitality, or insurance, or different verticals, but they have the it factor, right? We talked about the Sizzle factor. They've got something where they want to be entrepreneurial, right? They enjoy being in a team atmosphere, a family environment. But no, so we have, I think, a great playbook and training and onboarding to allow somebody who doesn't come from automotive, hey, you don't have to be from a dealership in sales or finance or being a general manager to be successful at D&M, because I think the attention to detail with our new hires and our onboarding, I think, also separates us, because that allows us to retain them. We have very little turnover. We're not a revolving door. And I think that's how we can have people be with us for 10, 15, 20 years and build a book of business and a portfolio and have a client base that's sustainable, and they can make a very good income. Some of our executives like to say they can make executive level income, and that is an accurate statement year after year, especially when we, at our sales conferences, we see so many people winning awards, and they're able to take care of their family or put money away and invest and travel and do what the things they want to do. Basically normal working hours.
What I've loved about just D&M and the ownership over the years, when there's been hard times in the community, they still take care of their people. And I've just loved seeing that over the years, how much care goes into how much they really love the family.
Well, I would say that we've been very fortunate. Unlike some other businesses, we didn't have to furlough or lay anybody off. Right? I know a lot of companies put the brakes on things.
That's a really big deal.
That's a big deal.
And the fact that we've been adding people since COVID. The cup runneth over. We have too many leads and not enough agents, and so I'm on the open market trying to find new folks for our organization, because we are in such demand for talent across our organization, and we're hiring all across different business units and departments, just because we did not have to scale things back, right? We continue advertising, we continue promoting our brand and what we do to differentiate ourselves, and so we're very proud of not having to lay anybody off or furlough anybody. We've been adding people over the last 2 years.
And during that time, when things began to shut down and events weren't happening and groups weren't meeting, the executives got together and said, what can we do? So we as a team decided we would donate to the area food banks. So all over the state of Texas, we gave a considerable amount of money to the food banks that were in dire need at that time. So it's there again, we just try to adapt and find out where are we needed and where can we help and where can we assist. And we've been so grateful and so fortunate to be in the position we're in that we definitely wanted to continue to give back and not just stop it altogether. That was very important.
Well, and I would say it's not just money. We're giving of our time and our talents and not just writing checks. We literally get out there, roll up our sleeves, and get out, like you mentioned, some of the events that we attend. Our employees are very involved. We're not just writing checks and saying, hey, here's D&M. I mean, we walk the walk, we talk the talk.
Exactly. It's fantastic. I think we should ask a fun question.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, we'll start with Larryssa.
Okay.
And you asked Jeff. If money were no object, this is completely changing direction.
Okay.
And you could be anything, go all the way back over and start again and be anything that you would want to be. What might it be? And by the way, we've had some really fun answers.
Race car driver.
Okay, that's a good
Wow.
Hands down.
Hands down. Huh?
Have you ever been on a racetrack?
So you're good at turning left?
And that high embankment, right? Turn four, right? At Daytona, right?
Yeah, hands down.
She's
Race
quick,
car.
by the way.
Yeah.
How fast have you gone in a car?
Well, they put a limit on it, but I think it was 175.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you scared?
Not at all. It's such a rush. It is such
Adrenaline.
It's just It's just such. I do it as my mom and dad both. We do everything fast in our family. We drive fast, we talk fast, we eat fast, we drive fast. I mean, it's just ingrained in me that I just love it and
That's
kind of grew up with it. And so, hands down, that's what I would be.
That's awesome.
Danica Patrick.
There you go.
Right.
Jed, what about you?
Well, actually, talent acquisition is kind of my second career. I went to school, Larryssa mentioned TCU, and that's a wonderful school. I went to UT down in Austin, so hook 'em horns, and I was a broadcast journalism major, and so I did
four
television.
of the Texas schools.
We did.
We did.
Oh.
Well represented.
Yes.
But I did that early in my career, broadcast television, on air and off air, doing news and sports, and then transitioned more into recruiting and talent acquisition. But people have always thought I should have gotten into sales right from the get-go. And so the fact that I'm now able to, attract and hire and retain sales folks, I kind of feel like in my own element. And so I'm not probably a race car driver's probably a better answer, but I would probably say sales, just because the rush of building relationships, retaining relationships, and expanding my personal and professional network. I'm a big believer in the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and so sales allows you to do that. And so I'd probably say sales.
I kind of agree with
But
that.
that's not as cool as a race car driver.
I think you could sell ice to an Eskimo. I truly believe it.
I believe it too. I
know
to be
it
a rock
can.
star, so
Okay.
There's still hope.
No, there's not.
Oh no.
There never was.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Rita Wilson is now doing it. Tom Hanks' wife, she's now a singer now. So she's more from an actress into a singer. So anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
I'd love to carry a tune, but that doesn't happen either. So.
So one last question before we go, and that is there anything that we did not ask you today that you wish we had?
Missed talking about, or?
I think you did, a really good job. I think we were able to share with you, what makes D&M a special place to work. It makes it a special place to do business with. I just think we have a wonderful story to tell. And we're a 40-year-old company that doesn't act like a 40-year-old company. Right? I mean, we've got this youthful energy throughout the organization, from a new hire that just started on Monday to someone who's been with the organization 20, 25, 30 years. And so that's what's exciting. I think we've covered a lot of stuff what makes D&M
There's
special.
one thing we left off, I just realized.
What's that?
That Larryssa was the 2008 Great Woman of
2018.
Texas.
All right.
I mean, yeah, not 2008, 2018.
All right.
Yes, that was
What
it.
in the world? We have enough time left for you to tell us that.
Well, it was an extremely beautiful honor and a privilege to be one of the women. There was 12 of us, I believe, that were inducted that year in 18. Mayor Betsy Price was along the 12, so I was in great company with. But it's. I just feel it's extreme.
What led you to earn that? I mean, what qualifications and?
I've just been so fortunate in my life to be able to give back any chance I get. I've been a volunteer at Cook Children's Hospital for 15 years. I've been a part of the Cancer Research Foundation. There's just different organizations that I've been involved in and been grateful to do that and volunteer my time. I think that's so important. If you've got, rather than write a check, like you were saying, if you can actually roll up your sleeves and volunteer, it's so important. And so I've just have done quite a bit of that through my career and been able to do it. And I had a very dear friend of mine that was nominated me, and it was a beautiful experience all the way around. But I'm grateful. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very kind.
I realized we got through without me asking.
Again, that speaks to the type of employee we have within D&M, right? That we want folks that are charitable, that give of their time, and I think that speaks to who we're trying to attract to D&M and be part of our team, part of that family, part of that culture.
Yes.
Right. There's a lot of folks that give of themselves, which I think reflects in what we do every day. So that's a perfect example.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it relationship building rather than salesmanship.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. You bet.
And that comes across. So.
Yes.
You bet.
True.
We're so glad to have you here. D&M Leasing out of Dallas, Fort Worth, Larryssa Hilcher and Jed Gifford. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. It was great to hear a little bit about your life in the auto industry. So,
thanks for having us.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
letting
much.
us share a few minutes of your time today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And again, we want to thank Craig Schrank with Willowbend Mortgage. Thank you for your support, and we will see you next. I'm Caralee.
I'm Stacy,
and we are your real estate professionals.
Thank you for joining us on North Texas Networkers. Visit our website, MariposaGroupDFW.com. That's MARIPOSA Group DFW.com for more information about the show and other resources. I'm Caralee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are your real estate professionals.